The Re-Engineering Australia program, known as Subs in Schools, is a high-end STEM challenge opportunity provided to school students across Australia to encourage growth and interest in the engineering and maritime sector. Through a focus on the design, fabrication and operation of a remote control submarine, as well as the equally complex enterprise and marketing aspects, the challenge develops skills that can be applied throughout the team members' lives. Essentially, this challenge has been about the growth, the development of skills and learning. I became involved with the Subs in Schools program through my enrolment in our school's engineering course.
Before entering Year 11, I was starting to plan where I wanted to be after Year 12 had finished. I had done STEM-related subjects in the past, and this was always a great interest to me. So when I was presented with the opportunity to be part of the Subs in Schools competition, I saw it as a great opportunity to be able to interact with industrial partners and gain a scope of what sort of STEM pathway interested me the most. Due to this, I am now considering pathways that involve maritime and logistics management.
In our engineering class, we were given the opportunity to take part in the Subs in Schools program. I thought this would be interesting, challenging, and allow me to develop new skills.
I first heard about Subs in Schools through F1 in Schools, which I competed in 2018 and 2019. The Subs in Schools program sounded fun and interesting. Some of the friends I made through F1 in Schools had asked me to join them in their Subs in Schools team at the start of Term 2 last year, as they were in a class that had the opportunity to compete. Luckily enough, I had a study line at the time that class ran, so I jumped in.
Through my younger years in primary school, I was a part of the first group to go through the STEM program, where I developed the foundations to my interests in the engineering world. After this, my enthusiasm for engineering was reflected in my grades throughout high school, and I won the ADF Future Innovators Award. When I finished during those years, I indulged myself in electronics, code, and physics. Personally, I've also delved into robotics, hydraulics, and rocket science. When I was asked to become a part of the team, I thought it was a fantastic way to continue to build on my skills.
So today was a really good session for us up at the AMC. We were able to test things from our buoyancy and get our mid-depth positioning correct. We had a couple of issues with the foam that was inside the submarine, but we were able to position them around to ensure that the submarine sits at mid-depth, which will help improve our score at the national finals, hopefully. And we did have an issue with one of the ballast tanks as well. The end cap popped off, but that was because we didn't have the metal rod on it to secure it in. But when we get back to school, we'll ensure that's placed on correctly for next time. So because of that, one of our ballast tanks had too much air in it, but we were lucky that we didn't ruin any of the components inside. But apart from that, that was really all we had completed today. But with our water trials next week, we'll be testing a lot more at school and ensuring that Daniel and Jeremy and Cameron are all good with controlling the submarine. There are quite a lot of elements to this project, but to break it down simply, our team consists of an engineering and enterprise department. Cameron and I take care of the enterprise-related stuff, whereas Daniel, Jeremy and Josh focus on the engineering side of things. The competition requires us to create a team identity and market it in a way that would attract sponsors in order to obtain the necessary funds to be able to participate in the competition. We use things such as the team website, Facebook and Instagram account to help market the team. We had to create two 11-page portfolios, one for enterprise and one for engineering. There were various topics that had to be outlined in each, but the main idea was to define each step we took along the way and how we sought to improve from any setbacks we faced. In terms of engineering, the team had to build a 1.2 metre fully functioning submarine, which was first provided in the form of a kit. However, there were various adjustments that needed to be made to the stock kit in order to get it functioning the way we liked. The team also had to program a remote in order to control the submarine. A massive focus of the engineering team was to consider how their actions were affecting the environment and what we could do to minimize waste and produce things in a more eco-friendly way.
Throughout the past year, I've learned many project management skills, as I often struggle with focus. This struggle affected the pace at which I was able to complete my duties as a manufacturing engineer, and that meant that I was having to spend much more time on tasks than I should have. In order to combat this, I did some research on different techniques I could use. and settled on a mini scrum-like technique. I would treat each lesson as a sprint and write down every step I needed to complete, and then tick it off as I went along. Ticking things off gave me a little bit of motivation to stay on task, enabling me to complete elements on time. The most important aspect of engineering I learnt through subs in schools is tolerance. Mostly through making mistakes, I learnt to add tolerances to everything, whether it be cabling or screw holes in CAD designs or even time management.
I was originally considering an aviation career, but after taking part in the Subs in Schools program and learning about all of the career paths in the STEM fields, I now know that engineering is the career pathway for me.
But as Term 2 rolled around in 2021, I found myself heavily involved in the challenge of building a remote control submarine. Having competed in these competitions before, I was well aware of the commitment that would be required to partake to my fullest ability. What I was not prepared for was the balance of this with the big challenge of Year 11 and 12 classes. With my first priority in college being to score well with my ATAR, I found balancing of work quite challenging. I overcame this by sticking to routine, one that would only be disrupted slightly in either direction, with the importance of assignments often overruling subs in schools work. But I did not let that stop me doing my best at managing and working alongside such a contrast of team members.
Although COVID hasn't affected us in Tasmania as severely as other states, we've had to learn to approach things in a COVID-safe way. Like many others, whenever we meet as a team, we ensure we're wearing face masks and sanitising every 30 to 60 minutes. When possible, we've held meetings through online platforms to avoid physical contact. These precautions were necessary to ensure no members of the team transmitted COVID to one another, in order to not experience any delays in our project. Although a few members of the team have had to isolate due to various reasons, we were always able to rely on technology, thinking of new ways to approach things online in order to get the project finished.
On behalf of the team, I'd like to express my utmost and sincere thanks to all sponsors, businesses, organisations and individuals who have helped us along the way. Therefore, I'd like to thank the following businesses: Launceston College, McTaggart Scott Australia, Launtel, Green Room Robotics, Think Big Printing, Australian Maritime Technologies, Peter Lee's Real Estate, MDH Accounting, and the Australian Maritime College. I would also like to thank the following individuals for spending time and assisting us in our journey. Thank you to Alicia Perry from Australian Maritime College, Stevie Cabauza, former Launceston College student, Matthew Fleming from RightsWeb, Sarah Martin, Australian Maritime College student, Peter King, Australian Maritime College, and of course, big thank you to our Launceston College team support, Jesse Martin from STEAM, Mark Gleeson, Assistant Principal, and Kent Poulton, former Launceston College STEAM AST, as well as Principal Vicky Mackerel and Business Manager Amanda Smith, as well as our teachers for their support and understanding for when we have needed to be away from class. Without all the help and support that we have received, we wouldn't have made it as far in the competition, and as a team, we give our thanks.
Looking back to April of 2021 and reflecting on everything that we have achieved as a team, I am proud of all that we have accomplished. Challenges have been overcome and new skills learned and friendships gained. Having this opportunity to develop such things has been an amazing experience and one that will allow myself and all of the other team members to extend ourselves in the future. We are now able to consider pathways through the Australian Defence Force and Australian Maritime College due to the skill sets we have learned throughout the competition. I am extremely proud of how my team has worked together in such a difficult competition such as Subs in Schools. Lastly, I would like to extend my thanks to all sponsors and mentors who have assisted our team. Without your help, the team would not have had the same opportunities to take part in Subs in Schools program.